me give you the story of Casey Diaz. Casey Diaz, at 12 years of age, joined a violent street gang in South Central LA. Casey Diaz spent the next every year from then on until he was 23, I think it was, maybe 27, incarcerated at some point in his life. First it was juvie, and then it was county jail, and he later, at the age of 16, was sentenced to New Folsom State Prison in upstate New York for 23 years for second-degree manslaughter and 52 counts of robbery. When he was sentenced, Casey Diaz said, the only thing I could think about was, I'm sure glad the judge doesn't know all the bad stuff I did. He was on a scale, they took a test, answered questions, on a scale of 1 to 100, he was in the 97th percentile of violent offenders in the state of California. He went through a series of jails and finally was put into solitary confinement at New Folsom Prison. And his book, by the way, you can get it, it's called The Shot Caller. And the shot caller is the apex predator in the prison system. He's the gang leader. He's the one that sleeps on top of the shivs, the homemade knives, and he passes those out if there's any disturbance. He decides who lives, who dies. At a very, very young age, this kid was a hardened criminal. He was in an 8x10 cell, 23 hours a day, no pictures on the wall, no windows, no library privileges, just had to sit there on his bunk. And he heard a voice outside his jail cell saying, who's in there? And the guard said, ma'am, you do not want to have anything to do with him. He's the worst of the worst. She said, I don't believe that. She read his name off the cell, and in her soft southern accent, she said, Darwin, God loves you, and I think he's going to do big things with you. Casey Diaz said no one called him Darwin. That was his that was his given name, but only his mother ever called him Darwin. But he had not been in church. He had no religious background. He dismissed this lady month after month. She came with a team from the Tridestone Church, Missionary Baptist Church in South Central LA. They took a 6-hour bus trip every Thursday to New Folsom State Prison to do prison ministries and Bible studies. And every Thursday, last Thursday of the month, she would come by his cell and say that same thing. Darwin, God loves you, and I think he's going to do big things with you. Well, I'm not going to spoil the book, but God revealed himself to Casey Diaz in an amazing way. He not only came to Christ, he started Bible studies in prison when he got out of solitary confinement. And then when he was released, he has become a pastor in Southern California. From prisoner to pastor. Yeah, give God a hand.